We've never been hotter during the summer. Last summer was the hottest of those 130 years. Last summer was the hottest of those 130 years. How you doing? I'm meteorologist Paul Deanno for NBC 5 Weather. Did you know that climate change not only makes Chicago warmer, it also makes Chicago colder?
What do you mean, warmer and colder?
Let's tackle the warmer part of the climate change equation. It absolutely makes Chicago hotter during the summer. You may remember last summer, the summer of 2020, we had 130 years of reliable weather data in Chicago. Last summer was the hottest of those 130 years. We've never been hotter during the summer than the summer of 2020. In fact, 2 of the 4 hottest summers and 3 of the 5 hottest Julys have all occurred in Chicago over the past decade. It is an absolute fact that climate change is making Chicago hotter during the summer. But what you might not know or might not think about is that climate change is also making Chicago colder. 2 of the past 13 Januaries in Chicago have been the coldest on record, and 4 of the past 20 Februaries have been among the coldest on record. And we all remember the polar vortex incident back in 2019, where temperatures dropped as low as 23 degrees below zero.
Chicago broke a record Wednesday, its coldest temperature since '85.
Temperatures in the Midwest not seen in decades, with wind chills plunging to 70 below in places that's 100 degrees below freezing.
Here's the interesting part. Climate change helped cause that. There's a jet stream, a river of air that moves around the North Pole that typically keeps the coldest air locked up at the North Pole. Well, because the polar regions are warming quicker than down where we live, that jet stream isn't as strong, and that super cold Arctic air is escaping more often, and we got hit by it directly just 2 years ago. Well, if the heat doesn't get your attention and the cold doesn't get your attention, maybe the snow will. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but the past 2 decades have been really, really snowy in the Chicago area. In fact, 4 of the past 20 Januaries have been the snowiest on record, and 7 of the past 20 Februaries have been among the snowiest on record. It has been either super snowy or not snowy at all in Chicago nearly every year for the past 20 years. And just back in February of this year, we had the snowiest 3-week stretch we've had in the city in the past 40 years. It's getting more extreme, and it's not just temperature, it's also snow. So if this rubber band is the weather, here's what climate change does to it. It stretches it. Climate change makes the hot days hotter, makes the cold days colder, and the snowy winters get snowier. Climate change doesn't make the weather, but what it does do, it makes the weather more extreme. So climate change is definitely having an impact on our weather, but perhaps not in the way you first thought. Yes, it's making us warmer, but it's also making us colder, and it's also making us snowier. I'm meteorologist Paul Deanno for NBC 5 Weather.